Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I am back in Miami. I've been in Miami for 2 weeks, and it has been just a magical faith-based type of time. And you may not believe in God, you may not believe in the universe or frequencies or whatnot, and that's perfectly okay. This is still gonna be a really good lesson slash awesome story overall that you're gonna be like, how on earth did this happen? This episode is all about letting go, clearing the paradigm, and just releasing bad frequencies. And ultimately, if you haven't been here before, this is the Black Cat Energy Podcast. On this podcast, my name is Air. We are going to grow. We are going to shift the paradigm. We're going to kind of evaluate where our past has been and where we want to go. Occasionally, we will cry on this podcast or we'll get a little emotional, and other times we are going to thrive in our awesome selves and just renew our faith and know that we are not alone. Okay, so let's get into it. Again, I have had such a magical time since I've been back to Miami. Just things have happened that could have not been anything but like God's work. And one principle that I want to bring up is actually letting go, moving forward, and eliminating the structure of the past so that you can create your reality. So, right now, if you do not like your current reality, like maybe you don't feel like you make enough money, maybe you're not in a good relationship, maybe don't feel like you have the best body, whatever it may be, like this is for you. And I'm going to be able to nail this down really in just a couple of concepts that if you can just repeat this on a daily basis, your life will dramatically change. You'll be happier, you'll be healthier. And if you're in that healing stage, like maybe you had a bad relationship or breakup or uncertainty, this is for you. Like, this is it. Like the bread, the butter, the meat, everything right here, gorgeous. So let's hop into it. You need to grab your pen and paper and you need to write this down. Principle over precedent. So, principle over precedent. Okay, I'm even going to put this in the chat for everyone that's like watching. Principle over precedent. And you may actually be like, what does that even mean? I don't even know those words. And I'm going to be straight up with you. I am someone who 100% loves to read. I love books. I am an avid reader, avid learner. If there's something I can learn, I am there for it. I'm like A+ student type of person. Like I will sit down and just listen. So principle over precedent. Okay, what does that mean? We'll break it up, okay? So let's start with precedent because that's what we're trying to move forward from. Precedent is your past. It's all of the knowledge and experience and lessons, advice that was given to you or attracted to you, or you went out and you found it to get you where you are today. And you may be like, Air, I love my life. This is great. Awesome. Right? Perfect. I'm so glad that you're in love with life. Like, that is 100% awesome. But I guarantee you that you want more because that's human nature. People want more all the time. So here we go. That is precedent. Your past experiences, your past knowledge got you to where you are today. Whether you like that or whether you don't like that, doesn't matter. But it's never going to get you where you want to go because you haven't been there. You don't know how to get there because you haven't done it before. And a really good way that I can kind of nail this all together is the Wright brothers and flying the plane. The Wright brothers didn't know how to make a plane fly. All of the knowledge that they had experienced and were taught and, given to them, no one knew how to do it, right? And everybody even said that you couldn't do it. You can't fly a plane like XYZ, right? Well, here's the thing, they still did it, right? They still figured it out, but they didn't have the precedent to get them there. They had to have the principle. And we're going to get over here, principle here in a second. But your precedent will only serve you as far as it has today. So let go of everything that has happened before. Let go of the relationships. Even if you want to get back together with that person, let go of that relationship because that relationship was before. People change all the time. People grow, people heal, people evolve, people devolve too, and people stay stuck in their ways. But that's not what this is about. We are growing today. We are making our life better today. And same thing with money. Like, okay, fine, you made 50,000 that year, or your bank account was negative. Doesn't mean that you can't have 200,000 this year. It doesn't mean that you can't be a millionaire. Choose your number, right? The precedent or the paradigm that you have grown around that makes you feel like you're stuck here and you can't move forward after that. So eliminate the precedent. You are no longer there. You can't even go back. Like so many of us want to live in the moment, like the memories or romanticize the memories and, almost pretend like it was better than it was. And even if it was great, you can't live there anymore, right? We have moved on. Like it or not, here we are, right? There's two things I've been saying to myself all week long. And it is, I will figure it out. And it is what it is. And that's okay, right? You move forward, you get up, you try again, you try something different. And that is where we get into principle. Okay. So precedent, limiting beliefs, past, XYZ, right? Maybe you feel like it was great, maybe you feel like it was awful, whatever. Principle is the better way. Principle will always be the better way. And this is why. Because principle is the how or the way, the path that gets you to where you want to go, right? If you were somebody that's like, I'm making $200,000 this year, okay? Well, if you've never done that before, then your principles are what's going to get you there, not your precedent, not your past. Your past can't help you get there. You are doing something new, right? You're growing, you're healing, you're doing whatever. Same thing with the relationships, whether you're going back to an ex or moving forward with somebody else. The relationship and the principle of the new relationship that you have starting today changes things. And principle goes into your habits, your attitude, and your outlook, your mindset. Here's another thing, is your mindset is 95% of what you need to fix in order to get where you want to go. 5% strategy. Strategy is important. You got to apply. But the mindset is 95%. You get the mind right, the internal state, the external will change. It has to, right? It just has to change. So here we go. Principle. I have a principle for health, okay? I wake up, I go to the gym. I wake up early. I don't always want to wake up early. I've got a love affair with my bed. And I love my bed. I got a heavy love affair. But I wake up early and I go to the gym. I run a mile and then I cycle a mile and then I turn around and I lift whatever weights and then I go for my morning walk and I get my coffee, right? I don't necessarily want to go do all those things, but I do. And I feel better and I'm better for it. And I wake up and I know that I'm doing that. Those are principles. Well, how about I throw a wrench in it, right? Maybe it's not just a love affair with my bed, but maybe I run into people I don't necessarily want to run into, right? People that are part of my present, part of my past. And like, oh my goodness, this is not what I want today. Like, clear my mind, clear my mindset. Okay? Okay, do it anyways. Grow. figured out these are your principles. You do not abandon your principles. They help establish your being so that you can move forward. Which means if a principle is, I've got to get to a new place, I got to make more money, I got to get the girl, I've got to, fix my self esteem, whatever it may be, you're going to have to do things differently. You're going to have to think really outside of the box, which is called awareness. Now, here's the thing. Children are really good at this because they don't know any different. They kind of got an advantage over us adults here because you can take a child or you can take me. I'm probably not the best example for this one, but you could take somebody and let's say they only know one language and their only language is English. I know a few languages, okay? But that's the whole point here is I'm more aware because I know different languages, that there's different ways to speak to people, different ways to describe things, different ways to communicate. But if you only know English and that's your precedent, then how on earth are you going to survive in Italy? Or are you going to survive in Thailand or Japan, right? You don't know those languages. So you got to figure out what principles you need to do to learn where you want to go. If you want to move to Japan and you need to learn Japanese, then you need to start learning a different way and your principles to get you there, right? You got to learn visas. You've got to dedicate yourself some time in order to learn the language, to learn the customs, the culture, become more aware. And that's just language. But a child that knows 4 languages just from like growing up in different cultures in different ways, they don't have to think like that. They already know it's a reality. They already know it's possible and capable. Which brings us into kind of a wrap around of how to move forward and move on and let go is the actual realization that what you are doing right now is giving birth or pregnancy to the next moment. So I invite you today to remember the future. Remember the future. Sounds weird, right? Remember the future because it's giving birth to what's next, the next moment. Now, I say remember the future and you're like, what? Remember the future? Yeah, remember the future because the future is where you're going. That is kind of a fancy way to say visualize. It's to say remember the future. Because if you're remembering the past, you're going to get more of that. And you may not actually get it in the way that you want it. Like, again, you may say, like, well, I enjoyed my past. I want to get back there. No, you don't. Because you wouldn't fit there anymore. You wouldn't belong there anymore. Like, you really just wouldn't belong. And then it wouldn't be the same. And then you wouldn't feel good. And just it would be very out of sorts, right? So remember the future. Let's say you want the better relationship, even if it's with the same person and they did the work or XYZ, or it's the same job and you're returning to it, or a business and you're starting again. Doesn't matter. Remember the future because that is what's going to get you in the right state of mind to be able to achieve what you actually want. We call this principles. Ooh, so that's a lot, right? But it's so dramatically impactful. And it's one of those things I invite you. So just don't limit yourself on this. Things that you really want to learn and get, you can't just listen one time. You can't just like figure it out one time and be like, oh, I got it. Let's move forward. No, you need to come back to this lesson. You need to come back to this lesson over and over and over for 30 days. Come back to this lesson. If you're not subscribed already, or if you're not following, like right now, like here's the moment, throw in if you're like on the live chat and you want to donate, like by all means, please, if I've added value to your life today, please like add more value and like just, givers gain is what I have to say about that. But ultimately, what I invite you to do is to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it because you've got to condition your mind in order to move forward. If you are somebody that's just like rigid and stuck, and you're like, no, and I don't have that, or I don't want that, or I can't. Like, this isn't for you because you're not ready yet. You're not ready to step into your best self. You're not ready to make a change and a difference. And I'm so sorry for that because you deserve more. Like, we all deserve more. And I've been there. I've been there where I'm like, I just want to go back. Like, I really enjoyed my life. I loved it. It was awesome. It was like everything I ever wanted. Like, how do I get back there? No, actually, no. Like, that's that romanticizing. That's that precedent. That's that your memory playing jokes on you. At the end of the day, that person did you wrong, or that job wasn't the right fit, or you just knew you were in the wrong environment. So, with that, make a change, do something different, condition your mind on principles. Okay, so I'm going to throw off the live chat over here with the podcast. Thank you so much. And I'm going to step into the room. I only do private chats for questions. So if you want to private chat, by all means, we can private chat and I will answer whatever question you have, whether it's on this concept or maybe you have a different question about life. I'm here for it. But until then, thank you so much for tuning into the Black Cat Energy podcast. And I will be with you guys very soon.